So what is your background? So you guys are into the tech or like other field?
Hi Ganesh. I completed my master's in computer engineering, but I took a break because of my child. So now I'm trying to get back because of this. There's a gap. I'm looking forward where I can learn or start back.
Okay. Okay. So earlier you completed the master's, right? Have you done any job?
Yes, I have worked as a developer for some time, and also I have worked as a data engineer. But later I took a gap, so I do have knowledge in scripting and programming, and also with SQL.
Oh, very good. Okay. So you were having how much experience you have? How many years
I
you have been
do
working as?
I have worked like 2 to 3 years of experience I do have,
Okay. Okay. Very good.
but
Yeah.
recently I have not been working. So, but I do have a good knowledge in upcoming, like whatever the recent technologies are there. I do have a knowledge, but I'm not worked on any of them.
Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. That's good. So hi Rajni.
Hi, Ranjini.
So Ranjini. Ranjini. I'm sorry. Yeah. Hi
Yeah,
Ranjini. So where are you from? So can you give brief about
I'm
yourself?
from San Diego. So I have
Okay.
worked as a software test engineer for Intel for an 1.5 year here in US,
Okay.
and have 3+ years of experience in QA. And I have
Okay. So
taken
you
a
like
break.
to.
Yeah,
Okay. You can take a
and I
break.
want
Okay.
to get back to workforce.
Oh, very good. Okay. So you are into the QA, right? Fine.
Yes.
That's cool. So Naresh and Shyam, are you guys working now or like you're students?
Uh, no, Ganesh, just I'm working as a backend developer. Right now I'm working with Techem. The client is Mastercard. Yeah, mostly my work will be on microservices and support.
Okay, you're
Yeah.
working as software engineer role, right? Backend engineer.
Yes, right. Yes, right.
Okay,
Backend
Java,
engineer.
right? Java.
Yes, right. Java. Yeah.
Okay. So Shyam?
Ganesh, I'm into different stream, which is quite opposite to the regular one which we have joined the call. I'm into SAP now, so I just wanted to explore my skill set to other softwares too. So I started training on this.
Okay, very good, very good. So have you guys aware of the AI, at least basics, or like are you guys fresher to the AI? Depending on that, I had to continue the demo.
I am fresher to this.
Okay, remaining others?
It
Not
depends.
fully fresher, but
You know some
currently,
knowledge.
yeah, I do have knowledge.
Okay. Okay, but Ranjani, Naresh, and Shyam, I think these three are fresh into the AI. I feel right.
Oh,
Right.
yes, yeah. Maybe right now we are using, we are integrated with AI tools, but so far really I didn't work on that thing. But in our offices, they are doing that, the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. So you might be integrating the services provided by the AI maybe into your application,
It's
right? So
even
something like
yeah, even IntelliJ and all. We have options to integrate, even ChatGPT also. Uh, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So ChatGPT, you're integrating directly with the token, or like how you're
Uh,
integrating library.
yeah, yeah. I don't know just now how they are integrating, but
Okay.
right now, mainly data science team they're doing that
Yeah,
because
yeah,
for them it's very useful as of now. Uh,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, understood, understood. Yes, sure. So before to that, I will give very brief introduction into the AI, and then I will go into the generative AI. So when you call a program as an AI, can you tell me when you call a program as an AI? You guys are some of you are already programmers, right? So which is an AI program, which is a non-AI program?
No, which is already configured in an automated one, we can call as a AI, right? Yeah.
Configured and automated. Okay.
No, yeah, which happens, uh, in automated version, there we no need to do any kind of except business
Mm,
logic, just remaining as far as as per my experience,
mm,
whatever configuration, let's say Spring and Spring Boot, which is already kind of AI thing, let's say Tomcat and all these embedded servers and all,
mm,
um, which are automatically useful for web servers, right? Now we don't need to
mm.
install, we don't need to pre-install those things, when we use Spring Boot, Spring Framework or Spring Boot.
Mm.
Well, just I'm giving the example. Maybe it's not the
Yeah.
ultimate.
So yes, yes, I understood what you're trying to say. So there is a difference between automation and AI. Automation is not an AI. Okay, you are thinking the automation is an AI, right?
Ah,
So
yes, yes,
automation
yeah,
is, yeah, yeah. I understood that. Yeah, that is not true. Not true. Most of the programmers' misconception is that. Okay.
yeah.
So that is not true. It's okay. Let me tell. So any other answers? Yeah, fine.
Anything which we already set up, for example, the simple example is like, before washing machine or any fridge, we had to set up like everything, but now even with a mode like, where it recognizes your voice and answers or does your work, is an AI, artificial intelligence. The data will be given by users, or a developer will be, like whoever testing that, they give the data, and using that data, the machine which answers or do our work, that is where it is called artificial intelligence.
Yeah. So when I call about artificial intelligence, that is not human intelligence, right? Computer has to think and do, correct?
Yes.
So that is what. So yeah. So let me. So voice recognition. Okay. So voice recognition even can happen without AI also. Yeah. But yeah, the training data, wherever the training is happening, that we call it as the AI. It's okay. Yeah, that is right. Almost that is right. Whatever you said. So where we can use applications of AI? Can you give at least each one or two examples in the AI?
Right now, AI has been used in many places, such as writing codes, writing SQL, like in the computer programming, and also to do machinery to work. For example, like other things like car works, where it has its own intelligence for electronic cars. So these are some of the examples.
Yeah, can you? So you're telling, so one of the automotive domain, so where the, for example, Tesla cars, which are having self-driving, right? So that is what you're
Yes.
trying to say. Yeah. So self-driving automation, that is very good. And any other example? Yeah, that's fine. So
Even now, healthcare is also using the artificial intelligence, where the computers itself are prescribing the medicine for a dental, or doing that vision testing. So
yeah,
they do the preliminary examinations. So that is also another applications where they
exactly.
are implementing AI.
Yes, right, right. Very good. So here, so when we call about any industry, we can incorporate the AI. Irrespective of the industry type, you have to choose the problem statement first. So what problem you're trying to solve? So let us say you're working on the healthcare support, whatever the Netra has mentioned. So healthcare support, what kind of a problems will be there? So maybe you wanted to identify a tumor, brain tumor, or like the lungs. So in the during the COVID time, so who are got infected with the lungs virus, so which are not lungs got infected, right? So how do you identify that? So using the AI, there are a lot of things. When we talk about the AI, there are so many things were there. In that, we call it as a prediction. You had to predict, the model has to predict something. AI has to predict something in the future. what is going to happen. So those models we call it as a predictive model. So in case of an example in the healthcare, so whether you have the brain tumor or not, take an images, MRI or something, and take the scanning and then give it to the model, and it should tell you in the diagnosis process. It would help the doctors, right? Doctors, if their doctors are very skeptical about what is going to happen with scanning, even radiologists, they will not understand properly, right? Even by looking at the lungs and all. So recently, around a month ago, so people were able to identify the breast cancer during a very early stage, which is technically not possible by any diagnosis process, right? So, but AI is able to do that. That is especially when it comes to the healthcare. Not only is healthcare, so even in the drug discovery during the Covishield vaccine generation, so they are using the AI to make the different types of proteins, so which can form the vaccine. So they can experiment on the result. And the next is transport. So you are using the Ola and Uber. Uber is very famous in the US, right? So when you just type the destination, it will give you estimated time of arrival, by which time the cab is going to reach you. That is also an AI. So it is predicting something. And by when you will reach your destination. And in case of agriculture, so you're able to see my screen, by the way.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So when it comes to the agriculture, so whether the fruits are ripe or not, or whether the crop came for the harvesting, so that decision also we can take. So these and all. So when I talk about the data, so what kind of data in general it is possible? So technically, you will read SQL you guys are working on, or Excel you guys are working on, right? Excel will have a tabular data format. So first type is tabular data. Second type is images. We look at the images, and especially when you talk about the Tesla cars, it will do the object detection, right? So when it is going, and it will have the sensors and the cameras, so it will continuously detect the person, cars, trees, the signals, everything. So that is an object detection process. And then the other kind of a data is a text. Of course, videos are nothing but the flow of images, right? I'm not again talking about the videos. Videos are nothing but images. And when you talk about the text, so whatever we read, reading a book, how we are talking right now, the lecture is happening in the English, right? There is a text data. There's no format to it. It's just simple text, which is having a semantic meaning inside of it. Okay, so technically in the world, three types of data is present. One is tabular data, where the data is structured and it is having the rows and columns. And second is the images. Third is the text. Okay, so using these three data, we can build any model, or like we can do any use case. So in case of even the education, nowadays you can see a lot of things are happening. Even OpenAI released the version called OpenAI 4.0 version, right? So where you can even interact and learn something. And the e-commerce website. So you open Amazon. So as soon as you open it and search for some product, and after some time you will get same recommendations. Not only the e-commerce website, even the entertainment sector, Netflix or YouTube, so any OTTs you consider, it is able to give you the movie suggestions or the web series suggestion which you may like. You know that recommendation algorithm is not a simple algorithm. People are spending crores of money in that to make a good recommendation so that people will click on it. Even in case of e-commerce, what is the success criteria? When they're recommending 10 images, 10 products, out of the at least are you able to buy one? There is a conversion ratio. People at the end, the company want revenue. How they can make a revenue? When you buy something, they can make a revenue. Or when you spend some time, especially in social media, suppose Instagram you take as an example, or Twitter. So the more time you spend on the platform, the more ads they can show, then they can make more money. So the goal is to make you stick to the screen. How that can be possible? By using the very good recommendations in the post, which you may like. When you enter into the shorts or reels, you continuously scroll it. Correct? So that is their algorithm, recommendation algorithm. So which will recommend you in such a way your click ratio will increase, click through rate will increase. And in case of automotive, there's so many factories, even the cars, they will use the robots, so which were automated. Or even if you look into the even the same Amazon or Flipkart websites, so their warehouses, if you go, they will have a lot of robots. Robots in the sense there can be a line robots or like line. It will just follow the lines, and it will go into the some sector, and it will take the package and keep it into the box. Such kind of things it will do. And when I talk about the humanoid robots, you know the Boston Dynamics. You just in the Google, search in a Google Boston Dynamics, what they're going to achieve. Of course, generally we have the lot of intelligence in the machines. Software-wise, we do have, but currently there is no support from the when you talk about the humanoid robots. So it's still the physics problem. It's not a computer science problem. We already achieved a lot of things using the OpenAI, especially generative AI. We have achieved a lot of things, but the way the tech lack was happening into the physics side, not into the computer science problem. So next is data security and even in finance. So when some credit card fraud transaction is happening, suppose you are the person who is residing in the US, suddenly a transaction is happening in Australia. The mission should be able to identify that as a fraud. So based on some model, they will build it and they will analyze it, and it will happen automatically. This could be a fraud detection. Either they can block the transaction or immediately you will get a call. Oh, this transaction happened, this much of amount of money. Is it done by you or not? Something like that. And then when it comes to data security, especially all the nowadays most of the cyber security tools are developed through the AI to avoid the vulnerability or to make stop the malware before ahead. And when you are applying for a loan, whether we have to approve it or not, whether the person is able to default or not, that can be decided by the default model. So banks will use it. And when it comes to the gaming, when it comes to the gaming, this gaming industry has been using the AI since say decades. Have you ever played a chess? Will you be able to win against a computer right now? Very hard. Winning against a human is very easy. Winning against a computer is very hard now. Just put a hard mode, and even the chess champions can't win now. So the computers will analyze even more faster and more in depth wise, so comparing with the humans. So now our computers are not the humans. Our computers are the machines now. So in case of astronomy, whether celestial body is present or not. So what that asteroid, when this asteroid gonna collapse on the Earth, like whether the water body is present on the moon. Okay. So some of the predictions which can happen even using the image analysis or data analysis, so which we can do to predict something in the astronomy. So it depends on the problem statement which we're working on. Yeah. So especially these unwell use cases. And then, so when we talk about the data science or machine learning and AI, so many people will get confused. So what is the terminology? What is the difference between them? Can anyone tell me what is the difference between these three terminologies? Of course, some of you guys are already software engineers, or some are working on the SAP. Sham is working on SAP. Naresh is a backend engineer. So, what is the source for you? Your work, data, right? Without data, what work you can do? Nobody can do any work. Since the accountage, like CS, they will use the data as an Excel formats. They'll conclude something. Without data, nothing is possible. Software engineering field or data science field, nothing will exist. This data, how we are using the data is a matter, right? Are you using it to prediction? Are you see software engineering nothing but getting the data and showing the data? Okay. So somebody asks the data from the UI. You go and fetch from the database and show it to them. That is entire software engineering is happening. Of course, using different technologies. Maybe you're using the Java or C++, or even the front-end technology, JavaScript, React Native. So whatever the technology you mentioned, technically it is happening only this thing. You raise a request, nothing but REST API request will happen, and you fetch the data from the backend and show it to the front end. The data flow is happening through the request and response. Nothing more than that. But at the end, if you go internally into software engineering, a lot of things will be there. The performance matters. How fast you're giving the response. Then it comes to system designing, system designing, and the scaling. All the things will come. So these technologies will evolve based on the problems what you are facing. Earlier, to open a single web page, it used to take a lot of time. Nowadays, it is very fast. So internet also evolved, and the system. Suppose you are accessing the Facebook or Instagram, any time, any single time, it went down. Very rarely, maybe once in twice in a year or something, right? So they do have the scalability in such a way that so request will not get terminated. But when it comes to the data science, it's completely different. It's not software engineering problem. The data problem is the especially AI problem is to do the human work, not to automate something. Suppose if one minute, you're able to see my Excel sheet.
Yes,
Yes.
Ganesh. Yes, Ganesh. We could see.
Yeah, yeah. So can you tell me what is this number? Any guess? Just guess it. Just be interactive. Even if it is wrong, it's fine. I'm not going to judge you based on the answer.
7.
7. Okay. So how it is 7?
Yes, 7, 12, 7, 11, 7.
7, 12, 7, 11, 7. Okay. Something you're observing some pattern and you told it can be 7. So any other answer? Okay. So someone has told it is 7. So maybe other people are still thinking. So what is happening in your brain? That is what I wanted to know. Of course, this Dheeraj has told. Dheeraj? Who is this Dheeraj? Dheeraj, are you new here? I didn't see you at the beginning. Yeah. Fine. So what is happening inside your brain? Okay, so someone told like it's 7, 12, 7, 11. So it could be 7. Some pattern he is following. Okay, how much time it took for a human to identify what could be this value? It took some time, but still we don't know if it is correct or not. Okay, let's be interactive, guys. So you can speak it up. If you have any questions, you can ask also.
Sure.
Yeah. So you any guess other answers? No answers? Netra, Naresh, what do you think could be?
Ganesh, I don't see any pattern over there. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, so you're not able to find it. It's okay. You can tell me like that. I'm not able to find any pattern. Very good.
Yeah, because what I'm trying to say is I don't see any pattern. Is that A and B what you have given inputs and what you have given in the
So now,
result? Is there
yeah,
any
the
pattern
7.
to it? Just like that.
Yeah,
Because
see, that is what I asked. What could be this number? So it's like aptitude test, right? In general, we have the aptitude exam.
yeah,
So
that's
this,
what. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's.
So, what is the difference between AI programming and our machine learning, this software engineering programming? Suppose if I ask you to write a program for this, how do you write? Will you be able to write in the computer science?
No.
Because
I mean,
suppose,
no,
like, yeah.
if we know what is the result we're expecting, we can write. But right now, I for me, I don't know what I'm expecting here. It's not multiplication, it's not division or addition. One, each of them are different, so it will be hard for me to write a program for this one.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe you had to find result is equal. So some programming language you're using here, Python I'm using. Something if you know a plus b, Then you will write A plus B and return the result. So what is happening here, Sham, if you're not having a program right, it's fine. So here, what we're trying to say is, so result is a function. So here the program will be written, A comma B will be passed. So we're doing some calculation. So it's not A plus B currently. So you had to do some, your logic you had to write here, your logic, right? And you have to return the logic. So this logic you can only write when you understand this pattern. Otherwise you cannot write. Okay, so when I call this function result of 6 comma 8, this is what I'm passing to this function. So when I pass this function, so this is what I'm passing the variable to this function, and you have to write your logic and you will get the value. So here your human intelligence should be required. Okay. Can I tell this logic now? Now what is the value here? What I did here, 2 multiplied with A plus B minus 2. That is the result. 2 multiplied with 2 is 4. 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 minus 2 is a 7. 4 multiplied with 2 is a 8. 8 plus 6, 14. 14 minus 2 is a 12. 1 multiplied with 2 is a 2. 2 plus 7 is 9. 9 minus 2 is a 7. So like that, what will be here? 6 multiplied with 2 is 12. 12 plus 8, 20. 20 minus 2, 18. 18 is the answer. So that is a pattern. Of course, if you have spent some more time, you could be able to crack it. It's not a big thing. Maybe
No,
it will
but
take some more time.
Ganesh, what I thought, see, understand the pattern. Uh, let's say if you initially when you have given the A, B, and result, there is no input for A and B. Whether we should be think there is a headers or that is also it's numbers. We should treat as numbers. If you don't give inputs, how it would even system knows that AB we should multiply row number 2 into row number A, row number 1. How is it
Multiply
possible?
row number 2. I didn't get you.
No. The reason I'm saying just generally we thought A and B. The first row we commonly think as headers, right?
A comma B are headers. Yes, these are headers.
Yeah. Headers, yeah. Um, but until unless if you don't uh, find the first, second row logic, how it comes to 7, it would be. My question is, how would you give input to the system? When you say result A comma B, how you would give that input? Right now in the logic, I know in the line number, so row number 9, I understood once you wrote this definition and
Yeah,
all.
so this is
But
pseudocode. Think like it is pseudocode. I'm not telling you you have to execute it. Of course, this will get
yeah,
executed. Yeah, 6 comma 8. So when I call in this function, so it has to give the
yeah.
result, right? So the result is your logic. My aim is to tell you here your logic you have to write, correct? So what will be the machine learning program? So the difference here is if you write this logic again, so it's not a machine learning program, right? So you pass the A comma B comma result, A comma B comma result, and machine has to give you the logic. Machine has to write a program for you. Here this program 2a plus b plus minus 2, it was your intelligence by deriving from the previous data. So that's why, so here I have given you 4 rows, which you can take as a reference so that you can answer this on this particular row, correct? By looking at these 4 patterns, you will be concluding what will be coming here. So, and you are putting the logic here.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the machine learning, So this you will not do it. You pass this entire data as a training set. So this is what we call it as the training data. So here I'm testing it. So using the training data which are given to you, you have to understand about the pattern. And by understanding that pattern, you have to apply that pattern onto the testing data. That is all about machine learning, nothing else. This is all about AI. Whatever the AI problem you take, underlying is this thing. Okay, so the computer has to write some program for you instead of you writing the program. If I show in a flow chart, look at here, traditional programming language, you have to pass the input and the program, and computer will compute it and give you the results, which is happening in the traditional program from past so many decades. But look at the machine learning programming, you have to pass the input as well as the output, and computer has to give you the logic. This is what is the true intelligence. It's not an automation. You cannot automate this one, right? How can you automate this thing in general? Not possible. Such intelligence, you had to provide them by using the training process. So that is all about the training. So training is nothing but you had to write some algorithm. So there are number of algorithms are there based on the problem statement. For example, linear regression, logistic regression, random forest, SVM, decision trees, gradient boost, and the neural networks. The neural networks is a very advanced one, so which is currently used by the anybody from past 10 years. Another machine learning approach was there. So machine learning, see, if when I talk about deep learning, it is nothing but advanced machine learning. Think like that. Something advanced version of machine learning is deep learning. The generative AI is advanced version of deep learning. Think, something like that you can remember. Okay, so we have these many roles are possible in the industry. Business analyst, data. These are all related to the data only, right? So business analyst guy, so what he does, he will take the data and he will understand something. He will make what business is happening within the Excels. He may do the visualizations. In the Excel, we have the visualizations, right? You can plot something and understand whether sales is going up or down by looking at the past 6 months data or past 1 year data, so that he can do the presentation and give a presentation to the business leaders. So this kind of a role is not a technical role. It's more of like a business kind of. That's why we call it as a business analyst. They don't know programming languages. And the data analyst, of course, they have to know some of the Excel sheets or presentation techniques. They do have it. When it comes to the data analyst, so data analyst guy, he has to deal with the data where, especially the SQL. Okay, SQL anybody has to know. So when the SQL is nothing but the communication language with the database, so where the programmer can get the data, how the Excel. Sham, I think you are aware of the database. If you are not aware of anything, you just let me know so that I will explain briefly about that before I'm jumping into the.
Okay.
Yeah. So how the Excel will work? Similar database will work. You can fetch the data from the Excel. You can fetch the data from the database using the SQL query. So that is a common language, structured query language, which will be used by anybody to get the data from the database. And even they will use the Tableau or such kind of a tools to derive some analysis from the data. And when it comes to data engineers, they build the pipelines from the starting to the end. How the data should come first. The data analyst, they will work on after getting the data. First of all, how the data will come. Suppose when you're using Amazon or any website, so you will go, the cursor will be moved here and there. You click on the product and add to the cart, buy. So every single thing is getting captured. Every single thing, whatever the click you made on the screen. So that is the event data. So that data streaming is happening to the backend, and they're storing into some file called log files, and later that will be used to analyze what is your behavior. Suppose you are buying something, the something like the laptop you are buying, automatically you will get a recommendation for the mouse or something keyboard or mouse pad, something like that, right? So that is happening behind the data. They have captured what you have bought, and they have the recommendation engine to suggest you something good. And when it comes to the data scientist, of course, data engineers, they do have the knowledge about the big data, especially building the big data pipelines. Why? Because the each and every user click data is not a small data. It is in the TBs or petabytes of data is coming, and that streaming should happen to the back end, and that requires a lot of efforts into big data, Hadoop, Airflow, and even most of the Apache products, they will use it. Data scientist, what he will do after getting the data, he will take the data. Sometimes even he can get the data from the database. Sometimes he has to scrape it on his own, and then format training data and format testing data. First of all, before to all of them, you have to form a problem statement. What problem you wanted to solve? After that, what kind of data you needed? You had to ask for it. You have to ask the data engineer, hey guys, so you give me this kind of data. So that engineer give it to you that data, and you can work on that and build a model and do the prediction. Okay. When it comes to the machine learning engineer, okay, so this role is little bit difficult role. So machine learning, nothing but ML engineer. You had to know a lot of things. You had to be data scientist as well as software engineer. Naresh, you are already from software engineering background. You have good knowledge in the back end. So if you know this AI, you can apply for the ML engineer kind of a role. Why? Because many data scientists does not have software engineering exposure. They don't know. They don't know how to deploy it someone, how to scale it, how to dockerize it, how to create some applications internally so that it will communicate with each other, scalability, performance wise, deployment wise. These guys don't know much, data scientists. They know very technical knowledge about the statistics and the algorithms, mathematics, but they will be having the
Yeah.
lack of knowledge into software engineering. Yeah.
Yeah, just I have a
So,
question. Like, just I about to ask a road path for ML engineering, and also when it comes to DS, DS knowledge, uh, is that data they are using some tool. They're using some code also. I don't know. I forgot the name, but we learn DS code something they are using to write to retrieve data to what do you call if you
see,
have
I will
more data
I will
to
tell.
retrieve. Yeah.
So see, the thing is, data retrieval is see data scientist pipeline. I will explain anyhow. The next slide is about that. So I'm just telling. So ML engineer is about these two languages. So some people already know
Okay.
software engineering. So if you know this AI, then you can apply for this thing. Okay. So data scientist, of course, even people can apply for data scientist role. So which is a very good role. So people you have, why you have applied for generative AI? Can I know the reason first? Because the generative AI is booming. That is the reason you're coming. Because that is what everybody will say. Of course, that may be the true. Because so much thing is happening in the ChatGPT OpenAI, and not only the OpenAI case, so many models have been coming. Like every week, if you see, right, Mistral, Llama, Llama 3, Llama 2 onwards it was started. Llama 2 was over. In the Llama 2, 8 billion, 70 billion. Now it is Llama 3, 304 billion model is happening. So which is
But
competitors to the ChatGPT. Yeah.
okay. Yeah. But recently,
So
recently in the Mastercard, whole
hmm,
data science team, replaced by AI tool.
which one? Data?
Uh,
Which
yeah, in
company
the
you're talking?
Mastercard, yeah, here generally they're working
Hmm.
on campaigns. About campaigns. They
Mhm,
conduct for credit card. For other cards, they'll
mhm,
conduct campaigns.
mhm,
Uh, Based on campaigns, they will conduct all over the country.
mhm,
Based on information they have received from users.
mhm,
Let's say just I'm using in a week, I'm using my card for grocery stores. Okay,
mhm,
like that. Just I'm using for Tim Hortons. Like that, I'm using for movies.
mhm,
They get the data,
mhm.
and based on the data, what I'm expending. My expenses more on let's say 70% on groceries, 20
Yeah, so you're talking
10%
about
on
the
movies,
expense
like that.
management. So maybe you can do
Uh,
some analysis and you can do expense management, right? Yeah.
Not
So
expense
that is nothing
management.
but. Yeah, no, no.
No,
So
no,
it
I'm
will
talking about,
classify. It will classify into groceries 60 percentage, movies, entertainment 20 percentage. Like that, it's
yeah,
segregating that use case you're talking,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
what is
So
that
that,
use case?
yeah, so that what they do, it's not only one person. Like
Mm,
most, let's take 10 people. Most of them, out of 10 people, 8 people will spend on groceries, right? Yeah,
mm,
like that they'll take the information, and
mm.
accordingly they will give the rewards. You know, give the
Okay,
rewards.
right.
You know, let's say suppose if I'm using a one store, store A,
Mm,
they'll
mm,
recommend store B to get
mm.
rewards or something, discount or offer.
Okay.
Uh, in that case, how data scientist a role in future, whether
No, here,
it will
here,
be.
first of all, what problem data scientist is doing here? Because you have said the already, see, when you make the transactions, okay, when you make a transaction, it will have transaction name, ID, and some description, merchant, where it will went. Transaction name or remarks will be there. Suppose transaction ID will be there, and the transaction name or description, and to which account it went, from account, correct, this much information, similar to this information it will be stored.
No, actually,
And if you
it doesn't say. Yeah, they don't care about the name transaction. Okay, see,
no, no,
they'll
I'm
take.
talking about the data, I'm talking about transactional data, I'm not talking they will use it or not.
Yeah, okay.
This is the how we store the transaction, isn't it? So something like that, each company, each bank will have their own format, Mastercard or anything. So here what does it matter? So this transaction, if it is related to the grocery or not, how do you identify that at first place?
No,
So
if it
that is
is,
something your company
if
is
it is,
doing something, right? Mm.
not company. Suppose, let's say, if you take India,
Mm.
what is DMart is doing, right? If you see
Yeah,
DMart, that's a grocery store. Like that,
yeah.
they know, the data scientists know, what is what. If you take in
No,
US,
how the data
Tim
scientist
Hortons,
knows? My doubt is how the data scientist knows it is a groceries or something.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the client, where the vendor, in the
Okay.
card, in the transaction, you will have the data, right?
Yeah.
Wherever you are, spending money.
Maybe here DMart will be there. Suppose in case Walmart or
Yeah,
DMart was there. Okay.
yeah,
So
yes,
through
right,
this
yeah.
name only anybody will be able to identify, right? So
Oh,
so
yeah,
many
exactly. Yeah.
transactions will happen. So many transactions are happening in entire month. So okay. So what if my vendor is not having such kind of a name, which is not able to identify it by the machine learning, and it is able to see here whatever the problem statement you said. So many things we can do. First of all, the DMart is related to groceries or it is related to entertainment. Okay, what if I have one more theater name, which is same name, DMart, cinemas? So will it be same groceries? No, this DMart and this DMart is different. There should be a misclassification can happen here. So first of all, here, if you ask me, it can be a first classification problem. You have to classify that vendor. If you, in general, you take your bank, forget about masters or anything. You will have bank statement, right? You do this thing, everything on your own. Why you have to be Mastercard is doing same thing. Even I tried to do this thing earlier, so many years back. My bank statements were there. I have multiple bank statements. I would like to do my own expenses, how it is happening, on what I'm spending more. The first thing is I
No,
have to
no, no.
classify
It's
it.
no,
Yeah,
no, no, no. You are going in the other way. No, it's
Um,
not
uh,
about the person
I had
expenses.
one question,
Yeah,
if you guys don't mind. Right now, I'm
yeah,
not
right.
understanding what is sham Naresh Isra. So whoever is asking, like, I don't know, I'm not understanding what is his question. Is he asking, can we replace all the data scientists as from a machine learning, or how a data scientist can work as a machine learning? So what is the question he's asking? I'm not understanding the question.
Yeah, even I
no, no.
didn't
My question
understand
is,
completely.
yeah,
Tell
yeah.
me.
My question is, let's say, data scientist, what he does, he'll verify all the information, the based on analysis. Whatever the data is
No,
having.
no, no, no.
Talk
That is
about,
not what
uh,
data scientist will do.
yeah.
That is not what data scientist will do. That's what I'm going to come here. So let me finish this then I will take the questions.
Okay.
Please. So,
Just Ganesh, I'll tell Naresh. I think you're talking about marketing data analyst or marketing data scientist, where they do go do the campaigning and for the companies. So they get to. So that is another different position. But the what was the question? I did not understand like why we are using that one for artificial intelligence. Like, what was your question? Can we replace
Yeah,
the data scientist position or
maybe,
what?
maybe, yeah, maybe he will get clarity after this slide. So if you still having same question, you can ask me, Naresh. Okay. So let me proceed with the
Yeah,
next
sure.
slide.
Yeah.
Maybe that will be getting clarified. Okay. So the data scientist role. So look here. See, here the background skills are not if you're talking survey, right? So some people will do survey and do the something. That is not at all scientist position. First of all, somebody is being called a scientist. There should be a reason. Nobody just like that. Nobody can be called a scientist. What science you are using here? Okay, here the science is mathematics. Mathematics is science, right? Science background. Here, mathematics and statistics is science. That's why we call them as scientist. Here, strong background in statistics, machine learning, data modeling, proficiency in programming languages like Python or R, and data visualizations and domain expertise. This is the real skill of data scientist. So he has to have extraordinary knowledge in statistics and the mathematics, especially linear algebra, calculus, linear algebra, you remember? Matrices, geometry, and the calculus, differentiations and integrations. Such knowledge is required to build a model to understand the algorithms. So that's why we call it them as scientist. Software engineers we don't call them as software scientists, right? Why? Because they don't use any science. But we call data scientist as a scientist. Why? Because they use the mathematics as science. And the data engineers, so they had to deal with the data. They already told ETL pipelines, and they had to have the programming knowledge, experience, Scala, Python, or Java, and big data frameworks like Hadoop, Spark. These and all required for the data engineer's role. Data analyst, which you have mentioned, maybe will be related to data analyst. He'll just take the data. He will not verify data. Of course, everybody has to verify the data. Everything, even you, software engineers will verify the data, what is coming in and going out. When it comes to data analyst, their role is to answer few particular questions without doing the modeling. By looking at the data, suppose I have given a data of the test car companies. Okay, so I was asking you, so which car company is having the most sales this year? Do you need any Python programming for that? Load into the Excel, filter by the car vehicle category. So which model is being sold, group by that thing, and then you will get so which car is having the most sales. Take the maximum number. Do we need programming for that? That is what data analysis. They will do some visualization technique, even the representations into them, whether sales is going up or down, so that kind of a plots to get. So those and all data analyst will do. But data scientist, he has to predict something, whether tomorrow will rain or not, based on the previous data. That is prediction. Whether the stock market will go up or down in the future, whether you have the disease or not. Okay, so those are prediction problems. That is what data scientist will do. And so I said, so three kinds of data is existing. So one is tabular data, another is image data, the next is the text data. This data scientist role, mostly they will deal with the tabular data. They do have strong background in statistics. You can apply standard deviation, variance, a lot of things will be there. A lot of testings will be there, which we normal software doesn't aware of it. A/B testing and all. Whether you have given a UI, okay. Whether suppose in general software engineers, what you will do. So IRCTC website you open. So when I open this website, some UI is getting open, right? Why this from button is here, to button is here? Why can't be left side or right side? I do have the multiple designs for this UI. Which design I have to pick? Can I use the AI to do that? Nothing but data science can I use that? So here, this position of this one can be on left side or right side. So there is a statistical verification is there. And the elections, whether the BJP will win or Congress will win. How do you know? How the surveys will happen? Of course, the pre-survey before the election, exit polls we call it. In exit polls, how will it happen? So after the election, recent elections happened in Andhra, right? So many surveys have done. YCP is the winner, but at the end, TDP has come. So what kind of a survey technique they have used? Of course, they have asked. They will do the sampling. They cannot go to each and every person. Maybe 4 crores of people are there in the AP. They can't go to every single person who have voted to which party you have voted. They don't tell. They'll just ask near to the people, near the polling booth. They will ask maybe 1,000 people or 2,000 people. That is called sampling, not the entire population. They'll go for sampling and they will ask them, okay, which one you have voted. Okay, they will tell. They will take the record and they will extend that using the inferential statistics to apply to the total population. That is what about the data science, right? So extending the using some statistical. If you go for the Times of India, theirs are very accurate. They will follow very scientific methods, not going by their gut feeling. Okay, I have seen 10 people. Okay, I have seen 10 people that told some party. Then I cannot predict like, okay, 10 people have said, then I'll go with this party. There should be a verification method, the scientific method. That is what happens in the data science. Statistics is a very huge concept. Okay. So next is machine learning engineer, which is equal to data scientist plus software engineer. So the other kind of a data I told about the images, right? Images and videos, especially Tesla is using. So when they're going in a car, so they're able to identify the objects. So those are computer vision developers. The next, so when you ask some question, ChatGPT is able to give you the answer. That is NLP engineering kind of a role. Nothing but text you are dealing with. You're asking a question, and it is retrieving from the answers. It is forming a new answer. That is a text, right? Text to text communication. Whatever we are talking, Telugu, English, Kannada, anything, whatever we talk, that is a text. So that is kind of a role is NLP engineer. See in market, so this kind of a roles are present. Currently, the new one is generative AI engineer. Generative AI engineer has to have knowledge of all these things. Maybe he has to have, see, technically you go to the LinkedIn and search for that generative AI kind of a role. What is the technical skills you needed? Go to the description and look at the tech stack they required. They will mention all of them. Not just ChatGPT, not just simple tool. That is not an AI, right? That is just tool. If you use the AI tool, that doesn't mean you are the AI expert. So that is what means. So AI knowledge comes with lot of in-depth analysis. Especially, it's not about program. Don't worry. Suppose if you guys are not from the programming background, that is completely fine. Already one of the batches happening with the AI. So those are from the commerce background, and who are not even having exposure to any programming. So AI is not about the programming that you have to mentally feed. AI is about the algorithms and statistics and how you think about the problem and how you wanted to solve it. So Python is one of the famous one. What is happening is most of the libraries are available for the Python. That's why people are using it. Of course, Python is very not at all efficient. We all know that Java is very efficient programming language. C++ is even more efficient. You consider C is even much more efficient. But because to develop something in C programming language or Java or C++ is very difficult. C is even extremely difficult. You had to map a lot of things. You had to know a lot of things. So that's why C we call it as a low-level programming language. Python or Java, these and all we call it as a high-level programming languages. High level in the sense, not the level is high. It requires very low efforts to do the programming. That is what we call it as a high-level programming languages. Okay, so the reason for Python and all we will discuss in the next class. This is a demo, right? So this is only demo to give a brief introduction about what is AI and all. So here, ML engineer, they had to have some more framework knowledge, like how Java people are having Spring Boot, Hibernate, and all. So like that, we do have the frameworks, which TensorFlow, PyTorch, ONNX, and distributed computing. They should have deployment strategies. Okay, this and all they should know. Okay, so when I call about the training, so I will give a simple example for the training. So take a baby, just born baby. Okay. So how do you train a baby, which is a cat, which is a dog? So you guys are some of you already parents. You have a child, right? You wanted to explain a child which is a cat and which is a dog. Maybe
we
simple. Yeah, Netra, tell me.
we first we teach is the sound of the dog and the sound of the cat. So the different sound makes whichever animal says bow, like meow, that's a cat. The other one said dog.
Okay.
That's the first example we'll be giving for the babies.
Yeah, excellent. Very good. Audio is a data. You're passing audio, right?
Yes.
So audio. Yeah. One more way is you show the image. That is,
Yes.
small books will be there, right? You can show the cat photo you show. Say it is
Mm-hmm.
a cat. Yeah, dog photo you show. It is a dog. That also you can do, right? So
Yes.
images. That's why kids will have that book section, which is a cat, dog, all the things, animals, photos, and all. So suppose I have given a book where uh, 10 cat images are there and 10 dog images are there. Okay. So first time you show first image cat, you say that is a brown cat. Next image another cat, which is a white cat. Next is a black cat. Okay. You show 10 images of the cat to the baby. What is going into the baby's mind? What is looking at the baby? So baby may be looking at, of course, baby not just one baby, at least 3 4 years, who can understand something, who can see visually without any problem. Okay, so people comes with empty mind, and you are training a baby by showing the images, by saying cat. Okay, maybe the cat is under the table, on the table, behind the curtain, on the bed, and scratching something. Okay, jumping on something. A lot of variety of images you are showing to the baby, and you show the same thing in the dog, black dog, white dog, and different breeds of dogs. Okay, show it to the baby. And after the 10, 10, 20 images are done, bring one more image which is not there in that book, which is not there in that book. Ask the baby whether it is a cat or dog. If the baby is able to identify or classify that a new image which you have shown as a cat or dog, then baby has learned properly. If the baby is not able to identify the new image which you have shown, that means baby didn't learn properly. That is how the exams are there. Whatever you learned, you are putting in the exam or not. That is how they verify the intelligence, right? In the baby case also. So why, what went wrong? If the baby is not able to identify properly what went wrong, what is happening inside the baby brain, So baby will see at the first image, cat image, okay, cat is looking like this. What are the features of the cat? Maybe it is having a fur, tail is smaller, it has 4 legs it is having, and the eyes are two, and the 2 ears are there, and the mustache is having very small mouth. Okay, maybe the sound also. For now, we don't know the sound. We are only showing the images. We only think about the images, and such kind of information will go into the baby. And dogs also. Dog looks very big. It is having very sharp teeth and very big ears, and the mouth also big. Okay, the tail also big. So such kind of information will go into the baby's brain. And when you bring something equal to a pug, which is in the size of the cat or baby puppy, and maybe baby get confused whether it is a cat or dog, because puppy is of very small size and cat also will be very small size. Okay, so baby, if it learned very nicely the eyes and this we call it as the features. So whatever the baby is going into the mind, like the fur and all the features whatever I have mentioned, so these are the features which will feed to the machine, and the machine should be able to identify it properly. So first 10 images of the cat and dog, we call it the training phase. The next one, which we are showing as a new image, right, which is not part of the training data, which we call it as a testing. Okay, so that is how the training will happen. Similarly, AI training also will happen. We will show the machine, we will show the AI algorithm. So these are the cats and these are the dogs. We'll bring the new images of the cat and dog, and if the machine is able to identify them nicely, then we call them as a very good model. So when we come with the machine learning workflow, so this is what we call the data preparation stage. If it is an images, text, or the tabular data, whatever the data is there, you have to prepare it. Suppose if the cats and dogs are the book is already you are having it. In general, we don't have we just have the images. You label it. This is a cat, this is a dog. You label for 10 images, 20 images. That is how we are preparing the data. And the output is you mentioned the output also. Or this image is related to cat, this image is related to dog. 20 images we have mentioned. This is what we call the data preparation stage. And after that, do the feature extraction. In case of the tabular data, each column is the features. In case of image data, it is nothing but the things which I have said, the features, right? So those are called the fur or tail or the eyes. Those you have to extract and the train the model, and the test on the new data set where the output you have to evaluate, and output, okay, the machine is able to identify them. In case of the cat or dog, machine is able to identify all the images in the test data is properly, then that is a good model. And now you deploy into the production for the real-time predictions. And in the real time it is getting failed. Maybe all of a sudden the dogs were very blurry, or dogs are maybe it is in the top position or behind the position, not from the front position. All of a sudden back positions or front positions, side positions are coming. Your model is getting failed. That means you have to go back to the training phase again, include that kind of data, or you include in the feature extraction stage if some features are missing. Suppose if the models are not working properly, go to the feature extraction first. And maybe did you miss the eyes, did you miss the teeth? Okay, add that and train it again and test it again and deploy it into the production for the predictions. And again it still it is not working fine, then maybe not problem with the features, maybe problem in the data itself. Add more data of the images. Maybe it's not able to learn with the, maybe you're having only first 5 images of the pictures. Then you include 5 more images till the baby learned. Okay. Then again extract the features and do the same. It is an iterative process. There is no ending to this process. At some time, yeah, it get stabilized maybe. But if it comes to the sales data was there. You prepare sales, and feature extraction nothing but columns, nothing but the sales personal information, person age or gender or his profession, everything is a feature, and you train the model and you got the prediction for the sales, and then something is wrong, it's not doing very well. Go and add some more features and do it. It's fine. If it is not fine, go back and add more data. Okay, so it is the typical workflow for any machine learning and AI approach. Okay, when it comes to generative AI, it's not AI. Of course, you should generally, if you have the AI knowledge, generally teaching generative AI is very easy. Jumping into the generative AI without knowing the AI is very difficult. But still, the teachers, what they will do, they will try to cooperate and they will try to make the syllabus in such a way, right? So you can see in the curriculum, we do have the Python programming. And then because in generative AI, mostly we deal with the text, right? So not with the tabular data. We don't have tabular data in the generative AI. In ChatGPT, where have you seen the tabular data? You have to ask a question, it has to give an answer. So that comes under the NLP, natural language processing, whatever we speak. So that using the deep learning, and how this natural language processing have evolved. Do you know why the generative AI is now it is really famous? Why it is not before? Can anybody guess why it happened like that? In 2017, Google published a paper. The paper name means attention is all you need. Go to this paper. This architecture published by the Google changed entire world, the way we think. 2017, when they made this model, this architecture diagram, so where is a attention, this is nothing but the encoder decoder architecture, so which may be new to you for now. So ignore some architecture over there. This is what we call transformer architecture. This transformer evolution changed entire AI industry. They developed some BERT model, BERT, and they're trying to evolve it. Then what the OpenAI company did, they took this architecture and they chopped this portion. They chopped this portion and they made the decoder. This is what we call it as the GPT. What is the GPT? Generative pre-trained transformer. It's a transformer architecture, right? So generative pre-trained transformer. Sorry, I lost the power. Are you able to see the screen or not?
Yeah, we could see.
Okay. So generative pre-trained transformer, that is nothing but GPT model. So that started with, maybe you guys are knowing from the GPT 3.5. As a developers from the data science, we have been using it from past 5 years. It's already GPT 1.0, which is not for the public. Generally, we had to buy from the GitHub. So to make the coding very easier, that came as a coding suggester. If you are very feeling very difficult in writing the code, you can take from the GPT-1 and write the code. So now it is evolved to GPT 3.5 and released as a ChatGPT 3.5. That is our first model from the ChatGPT. And later they made it to 3.5 Turbo and then 4, 4.0. Lot of model evolutions are happening. Okay. So now coming back to the Yeah, look at this curriculum. So that is a transformer architecture. And we call them as a, so this training process I have explained to you, right? So using the 10 images and we are able to train it. You're able to see my screen? No problem, right? Because I reshared it.
Yes, we can see.
Yeah, fine. So, so this training process, after doing it, we call it a model. And then we can use it for testing a real time. Correct? So this entire training model, what if we train it on top of entire internet, total internet, so much of petabytes of data? That is what we call it as a large language model. These large language models are trained on top of the entire internet, where it is even a normal person cannot do, and they do have a lot of investment. Initially, they prepared a lot of data and trained on top of that these NLP models. That's how these large language models like ChatGPT has evolved. So, what are the competitors of ChatGPT? Going to the Hugging Face. This Hugging Face is a framework where you can find a lot of models here. Hundreds of models, like how ChatGPT was there. These are open source models. You don't need to pay the money. If you to use the ChatGPT as your programming language, you have to pay the money, $25 per month. Of course, by not for the users in the UI, but to use it in a program, you have to pay the money. You will get then only you will get a token. Okay, so these are all you can use it for free. Then where you have deployed, where you will deploy it, what is your computer size? You know what is the difference between CPU computer and GPU computer? Have you ever played games? Games will be running on GPU computers. So where the GPU means graphical processing unit, CPU means central processing unit. Most of our machines will come with CPUs. If you go for GPU computers, it will be a little bit expensive. Okay, those are called as the gaming computers also. So there only you can use these models. Then you can run the models where you have the good amount of GPU and RAM. In normal computers, we can't run. Of course, this 8 billion model you can run. Number of parameters getting increased, you cannot run the model in your computer. And which servers we have to use? Amazon, if you go, they're having A100. NVIDIA is released so many computers, GPU computers. NVIDIA A100 was the last time. Recent one is NVIDIA H100. NVIDIA A100 Tensor Core GPU. You can to buy one computer here, this kind of a computer where you can train the very good amount of models. You know what is the cost of this one? Go to here. There is a, of course, you normal people can't buy this. It will be equal to nearly minimum cost. Minimum cost will be for a very good computer where you can train on it, 25 lakhs it will start. This NVIDIA A100 with 4 GPUs and all, it will cost around 1 crore Indian rupees. That is how the costly. Then how we will use it? We can't spend that much of money. That's why Amazon or Azure services they will provide. You can rent it. You cannot use it. You cannot buy it, but you can rent it. That is what in the Amazon EC2 we do have the machines A100 and all. Go to the GPU instances. In general, in companies I'm talking, not for the learning purpose, you can see the price. H200 also is even more latest one. A100, H100, H200, these are the architectures of by the NVIDIA. Go here, A100. Look for the cost. So P4DE 24X large machine per hour $40. This was per hour $32. If you reserve it for 1 year, it will be less. But if you wanted to go on demand per hour based, and then you had to charge this much. That means on demand means when you wanted to use it, that time only they will charge it. Otherwise, they won't charge it. Companies will spend like this. Even anybody company, they will not invest on buying this thing. They will go to the AWS or Azure and they will buy or rent it per hourly. You can use it for training or testing purpose. So that means whatever the time you spent on the server, it will be noted and it will be charged. So that's why why other companies are not building like ChatGPT is it comes with a lot of expenses. That much of $1 billion, no, none of the companies can able to afford. Okay, of course, Google is trying to make it. Bard is one more AI, right? Have you used Bard? And now it's called Gemini. Recently, they changed the name to Gemini, which is equal to the ChatGPT. But still, it is not that much of efficient like ChatGPT. Still, the Google is managing to make their market. They're trying hard to uh, compete with the OpenAI. But who is the clear winner here? Microsoft is a clear winner. Why Microsoft is clear? Because they are the person who are investing in the OpenAI, right? That's why. So for this use cases in our program, sorry. So large language models, and how do we develop it? Using the LangChain, and there is a framework called Hugging Face. Through that we can develop the models, and you can integrate the models to be honest. Then RAG. So RAG is one of the best use case in the generative AI. Why means you cannot suppose this ChatGPT was trained on internet, right? How do you know your personal documents? How do they know your company documents? You are having some HR policies in your document, or some LIC, insurance policies. You would like to make a chatbot to answer the questions from the employers, whether they can avail the leaves or not, what kind of insurance partner they do have it. Personal information was not stored in the chat GPT. They were trained, of course, they were trained on the internet, not on the privacy data. When you have privacy data, will you be able to train it? Again, I told you, you had to rent it, and it will be a lot of expensive. You had to make a good training data, and then you train it up, train top of it. So RAG application, what it will do, it will take the intelligence from the chat GPT and it will apply on your documents. You don't need to train on it. You don't need to fine tune it. Directly, you can upload the documents and you can chart with your documents. That is what we call it as a RAG. Retrieval Augmented Generation. This portion. How to deploy it and few projects. So this is all about the generative AI. But if you would like to go for the AI, this is AI. So it is a short-term course I have made. So where you will have the Python, of course, same thing like where's the generative? In the course curriculum, so Python programming will be there, NLP and deep learning, transformers, large language models, LangChain and Hugging Face, RAG system, and projects. But the syllabus for this is different because that you don't have fundamentals, especially in the AI. Do you have the fundamentals? No. But it's like you're jumping from the first step to the 10th step, generative AI. Going step by step is like this. First learn the Python, similar to that one, and the Python for data science, data visualization, and the mathematics, linear algebra, vector operations, and the matrix. I will be covering why because I know you guys might be forgot all the things which you have learned in the high school or something, but I will try to cover each and every mathematics from the basics to explain the concepts into the algorithms. And generally we know agile framework in software engineering, right? So agile framework does not work here. There is a new framework called CRISP-DM, where the defining the problem statement, understanding the data, and the model building and model evaluation, completely different life cycle will be there, unlike the waterfall method or agile method in software engineering. And the exploratory data, how do we understand the data? Okay, and statistics, in that population, sample, median variance, standard deviation, central limit theorem, hypothesis testing, normal distributions, and A/B testings. These and all will be there. And the machine learning algorithms. So generally, we have the two types of algorithms, right? Regression or classification. If the output is a number, you would like to predict a next stock price, house price prediction. That is a regression. Okay. So when it comes to the classification, dog or cat, that is a classification problem. There are a lot of algorithms further in that. And model selection. Out of these algorithms, which one to use? On what basis we have to use? That is model selection process. How do you evaluate the model? So the number of things for the deep learning into the neural networks. And this is neural network is nothing but replicating the human brain. We do have the brains. Our brains are capable of answering some questions or observing something by the neurons. How can we replicate in a coding? That's what we call it a perceptron. Perceptron is a replica of neuron. This is nothing but artificial neural network, where we try to inspire from the brain and build the neurons. This is the nowadays everybody is using. Of course, transformer architecture, everything is based on the neural networks. And there are a lot of things in deep learning and the PyTorch framework to do the projects, and these are some of the case studies and the projects. So this is about the AI course. It is about the generative AI. It's up to you which one you want to choose, because I will not force anybody to use this or that, because people will have their own perception. But I would like to break their perception and give you some guidance. So then decision will be yours. Okay. Any questions you can ask me now.
Any programming background required, Ganesh?